How did each member of Minecraft Squid Island perform as mayor when the role existed? We'll be going over that in this video. Let's start with Slogo's first term as mayor. After getting elected, he passed a law making trespassing on other people's property illegal. The punishment for breaking this law was set at 10 diamonds. Slogo also gave Crainer and Jelly a task to complete on their own, which included Crainer removing his underwater house and Jelly creating a new pathway system.
In your solo episodes, I would like each of you to complete a task. Crainer,
okay,
I want you to
fair.
remove your dumb, underwater house.
That's gonna take forever!
And Jelly,
Exactly.
I would like you to upgrade the pathway system in the town.
Oh, no problem.
Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I'll
You don't
see
get a
you.
task because you're the mayor.
Exactly.
Oh, I can't
No,
wait
he
to
gets
be
to
the mayor
live
then.
life in luxury up there on the
Right.
hill.
Woo!
In his solo video, Slogo built a pet shop where the other members of Squid Island can adopt pets. This was done to bring some happiness to Squid Island.
Right, it's about time I explained what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to bring some happiness to Squid Island. Right over here is going to be the location of... Drum roll, please. Yeah, that means can you get a drum roll in the video, please, editor? Thank you. A pet store! Yeah, we're going to build a pet store here where residents of Squid Island can come and adopt a pet. I'm not really sure what type of pets. I mean, at the very least, we're going to get some doggies in there because I know that there are some that live on the island. And I'm going to try and capture them without making them mine so that Jelly and Crainer can adopt them.
In the following group episode, the trio adopted the first set of pets that existed on Squid Island.
Should I take Felix, guys?
Yeah, do it.
But I actually knew Melvin in real life. I met
Oh, yeah,
Melvin.
true. You have met Melvin.
I
Yeah,
have
you
met Melvin.
Get Melvin then.
I might get Melvin.
Melvin.
Melvino!
Yay!
Yay! I have a
Yeah.
cat. I have a cat.
Make him green, like the color.
Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of a dog person, but you're kind of like a dog. I remember Melvin, he was kind of like a dog.
I would say Slogo's first term as mayor went pretty well. He set a pretty good precedent as mayor, even if he only held the position for a week. We'll move on to Jelly's first term as mayor of Squid Island. He was elected on December 20th, 2023, after Slogo had finished his first term as mayor of Squid Island.
All right, three,
Yes.
two,
2,
one.
1.
Oh! It's 2-2!
Oh.
Oh wait, what do we do when it's?
Oh.
Wait, we haven't thought about
I
that.
think the
What do we
king
do
gets
when...
the ultimate decision at that
Wait,
point.
so we need to put another red one in, I guess. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here
we
we-
should just have the...
Okay.
Yeah, we should just have a red and a green. So whatever comes
Oh
out
no,
is
are
the
you
vote.
kidding me? Are you
Yes.
kidding me?
Whatever comes out will
If
be the
it's
next
Slogo
mayor.
again, I'm eating my shoe.
3, 2, 1.
Yes!
Oh,
I am the mayor! I am the mayor!
Congratulations, man.
Jelly is the mayor.
I just want to say I
Whoa!
voted for you, Jelly.
Yo, that
What?
fits beautifully.
Look at his eyes.
Whoa! Whoa, I
looks
look so
stupid.
good.
After getting elected, Joey created a new law that made it illegal for citizens to live in buildings that resemble a tower structure. If one watches the previous few episodes, they'll know that this was made to get revenge for his temple being destroyed by Crainer. The punishment for breaking this law once was a warning. Breaking this law again, however, would result in the destruction of the citizens' buildings. Jelly also gave Slogo and Crainer tasks to complete in their own time, which included creating a new pathway and building a petting zoo on Squid Island. As for Jelly, he upgraded his armored weapons to become the strongest player on Squid Island.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh my goodness, I am now the strongest Minecraft player on the server! Yes, I can put on the helmet, but I'm not going to because I'm the mayor! Yeah, and now we just gotta hide our stuff, right? Or should I just log out with it? I mean, I could just click disconnect and no one can steal it. Maybe that's the better idea.
In the following group episode, the trio worked on adding a canal system for King Glowy to live in. Crainer also accidentally burned the statue of King Glowy that Jelly had built.
One could all of a sudden slip. Oh no!
You did not! Crainer, what did you do? No,
It's
Crainer!
starting! Something is. I don't. I'm still falling! I'm falling!
What are you doing?
Ah! Okay, I'm done. I'm done falling.
I built that thing, man!
Are
you kidding me?
It's ugly, Jelly. It needs to go. I'm sorry, buddy.
Hey,
No, wait, I was falling. I was falling.
Jelly, it's burning
I'm gonna
quick.
fix it.
It's burning real quick, Jelly.
I don't think you got time
gonna
to fix
fix
it,
it.
buddy.
Hey,
Yo, you
Crainer, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, Crainer, I hate you.
I'm not gonna lie, Crainer. That didn't look like you were falling.
No, I was
No,
falling
that was I was looking at you. That was not falling.
Have you guys fell
Hey,
for
but-
like a minute before? It happens sometimes.
I would say Joey's first term as mayor was pretty decent. The law he created was kind of dumb since it was primarily made to get revenge, but it led to some pretty interesting events happening on Squid Island. We'll move on to Crainer's first term as mayor of Squid Island. He was elected mayor of Squid Island on January 3rd, 2024, making him the first to be elected that year.
3, 2, 1.
Yes!
I thought it was gonna be the mayor.
Move out of my way, peasant!
Even though your first law was not that great, Josh, I wanted it to be you.
What was wrong with my first law?
Trespassing.
Yeah, that's
Whoop,
pretty
whoop,
good law. Like, what?
Okay, put your votes back in the voting chest. Come on, everybody. I'm the mayor. Now you must do as I say so.
After getting elected, Crainer passed a law making the act of living outside of Squid Island illegal. When one thinks about it, it becomes obvious this law was targeted at Jelly since he lived in a floating pyramid at the time. His revenge was also motivated by the law Jelly passed during his first term as mayor. The punishment for breaking this law was set as, quote, death by sword. In addition, Crainer gave Slogo and Jelly tasks, which included picking flowers and rebuilding the Squid Island path system. However, things started to go south as Slogo decided to cover Jelly's deep slate pyramid with lava and framed Crainer for it.
Hi, Jelly. As the mayor, I want to remind you I hate pyramids, so I covered it in lava so I don't see it. Mayor Crainer. That's the sort of thing he would probably say and do. And now we just need to get the lava to cover the entrance. We actually probably should have put it inside the door so he would be even less likely to spot it, but all right, it is what it is. All right, lava, we need you to proceed in this direction. Yep, that's what I'm talking about. Why are you stopping?
While this happened, Crainer built a house for his pet dog Anton. In the next group episode, everyone found out what happened and ganged up against Crainer for the entire episode. They also spent the episode upgrading the town hall and adding a new voting area.
So you could make the area where the mayor gets selected. Like,
Oh, I like that.
That could be
So
cool.
we're gonna have
So we've
separate
got-
areas.
We've got a voting area and we've got a law area. Is that correct, Josh?
Whoa, look at how cool it looks, dude.
Dude, going over the canal, bro.
Oh, I like it, Jelly.
That is quite the cliff, though. That is quite the cliffhanger.
How do you want to select the mayor over here?
Well, we do
Well,
it
you
with the
need to
dispenser.
build. You need to build a mayor selector thingy.
Remember, the king gets to vote as well.
Overall, I'd say Crainer's term as mayor was not that good. However, this was mainly due to things out of his control. Some examples include Slogo blaming Crainer for covering Jelly's pyramid in lava, and Jelly and Slogo not taking Crainer seriously. With that being said, Crainer's term as mayor could have been decent had Slogo not been a jackass. We then move on to Jelly's second term as mayor. He got re-elected on January 10th, 2024, marking the first time a trio member got re-elected.
Let's look at the chest in 3, 2, 1.
Yay!
Jelly is the mayor.
Jelly is the mayor.
No way.
I'll take the helmet. I'll take it again.
Mayor
Well, I hope
Jelly.
you get treated better than I did.
Oh,
Jelly.
Jelly,
get
Jelly.
this?
Dang it.
Guys, I am so excited. I'm the mayor again. Crainer, I'm gonna make sure I get a law in place that prevents you from ever doing something like that ever again.
I think that's a good idea right there.
I didn't do nothing.
After he got elected, Jelly passed a law that extended the mayor's term from 1 week to 4 weeks. This was very controversial as it effectively made Jelly a dictator. Not only that, but the punishment for breaking this law, aka holding an election before the 4 weeks were up, would result in citizens being exiled from Squid Island. Did anyone else think this was crazy? Jelly also gave Slogo and Crainer tasks to complete, which included destroying Jelly's former floating pyramid and building new animal farms. Looking back on it, the requirements for the latter task were pretty ludicrous. Speaking of Jelly, he kidnapped Slogo and Crainer's pets by making a warrant that allowed him to enter other people's property. He then brought them to a closed-off area and placed signs in front of Slogo and Crainer's houses, which explained the entire situation.
All right, here is Slogo's house. We just gotta make some signs, I think. Here we go. Slogo's signs are done. Bobby has been taken by the state to maintain peace and the state of Squid Island. I thought that was kind of funny.
In the next group episode, Jelly confronted Slogo about what he had done to Crainer and brought him to court.
I'm so
Slow
excited.
go, I have some questions for you.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you cover my entire pyramid with lava?
Josh?
I did not cover your entire pyramid with lava.
What do you mean? The entire pyramid was covered in lava.
Did you place lava on top of my pyramid?
I did not place lava on top of your pyramid.
Did you spread my lava beam?
Did you do it or not?
Sorry, you have to ask a straight question, man.
Oh no, this is gonna be bad, Jelly.
Did you place a block inside of the lava beam?
Ever?
Answer the question.
Yes, I definitely did. I can tell you one of those times was when we were cleaning up.
The mess you created.
Is there a question?
Yes.
Jelly, ask him. Are you the reason my pyramid was covered in lava?
Yes. Good one. Slogo. Are you the reason my pyramid was covered in lava?
I was not the sole reason it was covered in lava.
Then what was the other reason?
What do you mean?
Okay, he did it,
think
Jelly.
he did
Isn't
it.
it
I think
obvious
he
now?
As in,
You
you
did it.
placed the
Very
lava.
obvious
You
now,
placed,
Jelly.
you placed the lava. That's part of the reason.
Lava, but I didn't
See,
spread that lava over my
Jelly,
pyramid.
I didn't do it. Now what else did you do?
I don't know. I think the results are inconclusive.
This also resulted in a law being passed, which stated that whoever held the Book of Laws was prohibited from lying. The punishment for breaking this law was to wear the pumpkin of shame for an entire episode. Overall, I'd say Jelly's second term as mayor was pretty chaotic. The first law passed during this term made him a dictator, but the second one made it so that people could not lie when holding the Book of Laws. Depending on how you interpret the laws, one could argue that Jelly was either really good or bad during his second term as Squid Island's mayor. Looking back on it, Slogo was the best mayor of Squid Island. He is followed by Jelly, an alright mayor, and Crainer, the worst mayor of Squid Island. However, the latter only ranks last because the other two did not take him seriously. With everything being said, how would you rank them when they were the mayor of Squid Island?